Hey, drinking my collagen, drinkable skincare, hair care, nail care, bone care, gut care, all of the above, and so much more. Let me stop. Anywho, so I came upstairs this evening because I have a headache starting, and I figured I'm going to lay here and do some personal development, maybe do some videos, do some recordings for myself to play back later. I did that the other day, you guys, and let me tell you, the power in a voice memo, hearing yourself say things back to you is intense. Like, wow. I was literally mind blown because I even messaged my homegirl and I was like, girl, I'm so glad I recorded myself going over the things that I wrote down. Like, it just hit me differently hearing myself say it. And, you know, change is, it's changed for me. Changed from handwriting everything to voice recording. Because then I can go play it back and I can hear the tone of my voice. I can hear the passion in my heart. I can hear the pain in my voice, depending on what it is that I'm speaking on. A lot. And it's interesting to feel the difference in how the same thing I wrote down to the same thing I recorded and played back hit differently, like all the way around. It was amazing. But so anyway, so you guys know that I spoke the other day that I was starting to read this book, 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do. International bestseller. It says, kick bad mental habits and toughen yourself up. Take back your power, embrace change, face your fears, and train your brain for happiness and success. So I came across this page and I wanted to talk about this because we always talk about, like, you'll hear me say 1,001 times, if nothing changes, nothing will change. And that goes not just for business, not just, personal life, day to day. Like, if you grew up in the streets, what do you got to do to change that to get out of it? You know, change is very uncomfortable, but it's very, very necessary. So I'm not going to read you the checklist of things and all that stuff, but I want to read a few things to you about this because it just, I don't know, people need to hear this because so often, so many people say, I want to change, I want things to get better, I'm going to do better, I'm going to da-da-da-da-da, and it's short-lived because their actions don't back up their words. And that's a big problem. So, this starts to say, it says to change or not to change. And it says, although it's often easy to say you want to change, successfully making a change is hard. Our thoughts and emotions often prevent us from creating behavioral change, even when it will improve our lives. And we know it will, you guys. We know that if we make the necessary changes, our life could completely change all around. Our family's lives, our kids' lives, goes down the chain. When we break those generational curses with change, that changes for everybody underneath us, you know? Come on. It's important. Okay, so then why we shy away from change. Many people shy away from change because they think that doing something different is risky or uncomfortable, which is so true. So many times, a lot of it stems down to why people don't change is because they don't want to get uncomfortable. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable because when you step outside of your comfort zone and you start doing things that you would have never done before, then you start to see the changes. You start to feel different. You start to think different. You start to act different. You start to see things falling into place. Who doesn't want that? Okay. Next, types of changes. We can experience different types of change. Some you might find easier than others. All or nothing change, which is some changes are incremental while others are basically all or nothing. Deciding to have a child, for example, is something you can do in steps. Once you have that baby, your life is irrevocably changed. You have habit change. You can choose to either get rid of bad habits like sleeping too late,
which I used to do. Or you can choose to create good habits like exercising 5 times a week. Most habit changes allow you to try something new for a little while, but you can always revert back to your old habits. Then there's the try something new change. Change sometimes involves trying something new or mixing up your daily routine, like volunteering at a hospital or taking violin lessons. You guys, I used to, hold on, I'm searching for my glasses. I used to constantly sleep late. I used to hit my snooze on my 15 alarms every morning that would go off for like, it was so bad, y'all. I'm going to tell on myself right now. It was so bad at one point. I had an alarm that me, like all crazy, okay? And I would sit it across the room, and even if it was right beside my head, it would go off. And that thing would go off for 2 hours if I didn't shut it off. And let me tell you, right beside my head, it would go off for 2 hours, and I would not get out of bed. I wouldn't even hear it. Like I'd sleep past it, past that 2 hours oversleeping. But now it's like I'm up. I'm so motivated. I love getting, like, don't get me wrong. There's some mornings it's like, I need my coffee first before I even have a conversation. But like, it's crazy because like my mom even says now, like, I used to have to spray water on you and stuff to get you out of bed when you were in school. But like, yeah, it was bad, y'all. But like, I get up like it's nothing. I get up because I have a burning desire to do better. I have a burning desire to go somewhere. I have dreams. I have goals. I have vision. Like, I have things that I want to do. I have places that I want to see. Like, I know those small changes that I've made make a big impact, because the fact that I get up at 4:50 every day and do what I need to do, I get to get my personal development in. I get to get my word in. I get to get my gratitude in. I get a lot done before my son's awake and the baby gets here during the week, because y'all know I babysit Monday through Thursday. Like, I enjoy being able to do that stuff. That was a change I had to make. It was not easy. I was not comfortable. And I still have days where it's like, oh, I just need that extra hour. So some days I might sleep in an extra hour, but I'm up. You know what I mean? Like, I wake up, turn the alarm off, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to give it another hour. Cool. Depending on how my sleep was. Like last night, I was up at 3, up at 5. It's a Saturday. What did I need to be up for that early? So those are just some habit changes. And reading. You guys, I never used to read. That was a change for me. In order for me to grow, I had to feed my brain. In order for me to learn new things or, retain information, I had to read. I had to understand that there was, no matter what I went through, whatever label the doctor gave me or what labels people placed on me at a young age, like, that cannot define who I am, because that is not who I am. I am made for so much more, just like each and every single one of you are made for so much more. You just have to be willing to take a step out of your comfort zone and get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because when change happens, it's a beautiful thing. We also have the behavioral change, which is an example. It says sometimes there are behavioral changes that don't necessarily constitute a habit. For example, maybe you want to commit to going to all of your child's sports games, or maybe you want to behave friendlier. You want to be a nicer individual. Maybe you don't want to be a bully if you were a bully. Like, I know, not for nothing, I was always quick to snap out. Drop of a dime, like, I was snapping, ready to fight somebody. Like, that's how I always was. And I try so hard to keep that person away, because that's not who I am. That's not who I am. That's not who God wanted me to be. But I used to be like that. No denying that. No shame. Like, that was who I was. But again, I had to change behaviors. I had to change my way of thinking. I had to change. It's a lot deeper than just saying, oh, I'm not going to act like that. You can say you're not going to act like that all you want, but you're going to go right back to it. Like, trust me, there's people that test me and it's very hard, but that's not who I am anymore. And that's not what I'm about. Now, somebody mess with my baby, that's a whole nother story. I'm not even going to play. You have emotional change too. Not all changes are
Not all change is tangible. Sometimes it's emotional. For example, if you want to feel less irritable all the time, you'll need to examine the thoughts and behaviors that contribute to your irritability. As I was just saying, like, it's not just saying you're going to change. It's literally a mindset change. Like, you have to look at what you're telling yourself. You have to look at the stuff that's in your brain that you truly believe is true. Like, I've had, I was bullied at a young age. So I understand, like, people put things in your head and you might believe them, or you might feel that what they're saying is true about you. You know the truth. You know who you are. You know what goes on up here. So is that how you want to continue to live the rest of your life? Or do you want to change some things that go on up there? Because how many times do we hear ourselves self-doubt? We hear ourselves talk negative about ourselves. That is a problem, because what you are telling yourself is what you're speaking into the atmosphere, and that's what's going to happen. So when you change the way you think and you start thinking positively and you start, speaking life over your life and speaking life over your mental, speaking life over your behavior, speaking life into every aspect of your life, things will start to change. Things will start to get so much more beautiful, peaceful, filled with happiness, filled with joy. Y'all all hear me talk about protecting your peace, because protecting your peace is so important. So if your life is chaotic and you've got a lot of toxicity surrounding you, you need to make change. For you, you need to make change to protect your inner peace, to protect your emotions, your feelings, your heart. You've got to make those changes. And then there's a cognitive change. There may be ways in which you want to change your thinking as well. Perhaps you want to think less about the past, or maybe decrease the worry. We all want to decrease worry. And something y'all hear me say too is you can't worry and worship. I mean, to each their own. If you don't follow God, that's okay. No judgment. But my biggest thing, because I am a child of God, I am a woman of God, I'm on assignment. There's so much kingdom work to be done. And I truly believe that you cannot worry and worship. It's one or the other. It's a one or the other. Like, I had a huge test that I had to, health test that I had to go for this past week. And as much as worry tried to creep in, worry was just full force trying to come in. And I was just like, no, like, I'm stronger than this. I know that my God is faithful. I know that he is going to take care of this. It is already done. It is signed, sealed, and delivered. That is, like, everything was good. And I went to that scan and everything was good. We found some things out, but everything was good. Like, it's not as bad as it could have been. Everybody always thinks the worst right away. Like, that's just how some of us are. The 5 stages of change is gonna be the last thing I think that I go over, because I could be in this book all day with y'all all day, because it's so good. I mean, this change chapter goes on forever, it seems like. But the 5 stages of change, I just figure that these are key things of change, key topics, key bullet points, that's how you want to call it. Like I said, the types of change, why we shy away from change, so on and so forth. So the 5 stages of change, number 1 is pre-contemplation. When people are pre-contemplative, they don't yet identify any need to change. So if you're one of those people that, like, walks around, I don't need to change. Like, I'm perfectly fine the way I am. Even though you out here doing wrong and the way you think is wrong and you're disrespecting people and you might be the toxic individual, you could be pre-contemplative because you don't know, like, you think that you don't need to change. You think that everything is perfect the way it is. So that's basically what that is. Then number 2 is contemplation. People who are actively contemplative are considering the pros and cons of making a change. So you're considering the pros and cons. So that could be like, that's the 2nd stage. Okay. And then number 3 is preparation. This is the stage where people prepare to make change, which I know that I have been all 3 of these stages so far in my change progress. Now, I've been working at this for a minute, y'all. Number 4 is action. This is where the concrete behavioral change takes place. I've already hit number 4 too. There's some things that I've hit all 5, but I still know that there's more to be done. So I haven't hit number 5 in all areas. Number 5 is maintenance. This often overlooked step is essential. Richard needed to plan, it's just using this guy's name, to plan ahead so he could maintain his lifestyle changes when he faced obstacles like holidays or vacations. So the reason I say that I know I've hit all 5 in some areas of the change that I've gone through, because it's maintaining. I'm literally maintaining the behaviors, the attitudes, the thoughts, the personal development, the reading, the feeding my brain, the pouring into others. Like, there's certain things that I've done all 5 and I just need to maintain it now. I just need to keep at it. But there's other areas of my life where it's like, okay, I still got some work to do. You know, like, I'm not at the maintenance level yet. I'm still in the action levels. I can't say that I'm numbers 1 through 3 in many areas, because I'm prepared to make change in every area of my life, every aspect of my life. And I've started taking action in a lot of those areas. I know that it's like I'm working on one thing at a time, and like, you know, focusing on the importance of those changes in my life, whether that's removing toxic people or things from my life. You know, paying off my debt. That was making a change, because I swore up and down the debt that I had that wasn't mine, but it was under my name. So therefore it legally is mine, even though I didn't run it. Like, I never wanted to pay that off. I was like, I'm not paying that. Like, I didn't do it, but it's my, you know, I had to make that change. I had to think differently. I had to look at it differently. So that's why it's important that, you know, like, you gotta know what part of the change, the 5 stages of change, are you at? If you know that there's another area of your life that could use some more change, what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do to make that look different? You know, I hear so many people say, like, sometimes you have people that don't even let you finish what you're saying because they just know. They're in that pre-contemplative stage. Okay, like, I can tell you that right now, because I was that individual at one point. Like, I remember years ago, my sister was like, you need to read, you need to do some personal development, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I hear you. Like, I got you. I'm going to do it then. And I never did it. It took me, I'd say about 2 years ago now, I started making a lot of changes 2 years ago. Well, about 2.5. About 2.5 years ago, I made some huge changes in my life, and I started reading books. And imagine how far I'd be if I would have did this stuff 8 years ago, like, when she first told me. But, like, let's be honest, we're all human. You know, sometimes some of us see it before others. Other people may see it for you before you see it. So on and so forth. But it's just, as long as you take that step, you get over your fear of being uncomfortable. I was just reading this one part. It says avoiding discomfort, as I'm talking about being uncomfortable. It says many people associate change with discomfort, and often they underestimate their ability to tolerate the discomfort that accompanies a behavioral change. So again, stepping out of your comfort zone. You are stronger than you think. You are stronger than you think. You've just got to dig down on the inside of you to find that warrior, find that inner David, as I call it. You know, back when I had surgery 3 and 4 from my accident, I hit a really dark patch, like really, really dark. I was down in the dumps. I was having really bad negative thoughts, suicidal thoughts, the works. The enemy was attacking me at my weakest point tenfold. Like, it was scary. It was scary. And I can sit here and say that now. Like, it was so scary. I know what it was like going through it. I'm so thankful that I'm out of it. I'm thankful that God brought me through that moment. Ooh. I am. I'm super thankful that God brought me through that moment because I'm still here. I'm still here. My life is good. My life is greater than what it was before. I'm not where I want to be yet, no, but I'm working every day. I step out of my comfort zone. I get comfortable being uncomfortable, whether that's getting personal, being transparent, opening up about feelings with people that maybe I wasn't always able to do. Okay. So like that stuff, like that's all baby steps. That's habit changes. Like that's doing things to help make things better in my life. You know, just as each and everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants joy. Like, but what are you willing to do to get it? Like, are you willing to cut toxic people off, whether they're family, loved ones, friends? They could be your best friends. Like, it doesn't matter. Are you willing to do that? So, change is good. Okay. A lot of people think, oh my gosh, it's so scary. Change is scary for a lot of people, but that's because you're in here with all those negative thoughts, with all the toxicity that you're filling it with. Like, if you do not pour into yourself on a daily basis, whether that's a 15-minute motivational video, reading a book for 30 minutes, whatever it is, if you are not doing anything to improve your mental health or to improve your growth, that's where you need to start. You need to start with working on you. You know, I know there's so many people out there that do for everybody else. And like, I'm that type of person. I'll give the clothes off my back to somebody. Like, I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be on the street. Like, I understand all that. But you have got to be willing to start somewhere. You need to sit down and reflect on your entire life. The good, the bad, the ugly, where you're at, where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to be. Those type of things are so important. But then once you have all them listed down, what are you going to do to get it? How uncomfortable are you going to get those things that you want? Something you got to ask yourself. Because it's real. Like, it's super real. I mean, we can always just sit here and verbalize that we want change. But if we take no action, nothing will change. So if nothing changes, nothing will change. You know, and I want for everyone to live a happy life. I want for everyone to protect their peace and to just enjoy life. Life is so fast-paced nowadays, and there's so much that goes on, and time is flying by, like literally flying by before our eyes. Why not enjoy it? Why not enjoy it in the most peaceful state of mind? Why not? Why not you? Why can't you have the most peaceful state of mind and live your life and be happy? With that being said, I'm going to end it on that note. Have a great evening. Stay blessed, y'all.